Yep, I said it. AI is destroying tech. If this bubble doesn't pop soon, there may be nothing to save. In fact, it may already be too late. Stay tuned. From memory costing 5 times what it cost in October, to YouTube being overrun with AI slop, to companies being repeatedly out of touch with what customers actually want, that's pretty much the defining characteristics of the AI generation. In fact, what some people call the biggest breakthrough in technological advancement has essentially turned everything into the Temu version of what it used to be. And you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, it's sucking the fun out of everything. We can see it in everything we do. Gaming, tech in general. People are suffering from fatigue from AI slop, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I got to pay some bills. So, check out today's sponsor. Are you still running Windows 11 unactivated because the license just costs too much? Then you should check out today's sponsor, VIP SCD Key, where you can get a valid Windows 11 license for around $20. Stop dealing with that stupid watermark and actually be able to change your desktop background with a valid license for Windows 11. Just go to the link in the description below and pick up a valid Windows 11 license key. During checkout, use the code CYBERCPU for a 25% discount. Once you have your key, go to your activation settings in Windows 11 and click the link that says Change Product Key. Enter the product key you just purchased and hit Activate. Now you don't have to deal with that stupid watermark. And check out the description for deals on not just Windows, but Office too. Now, on with the video. So before we talk about why AI is destroying tech, we need to understand what it is we're talking about. Because I've found that a lot of people just don't understand how AI works. In fact, the confusion around AI, I think, contributes to the problems it causes. And from what I've noticed recently, that if you disagree with AI, it's almost entirely because you don't understand it. So, let's understand it. Because ultimately, AI is not data from Star Trek. In fact, it never will be. AI is nothing more than a spell check on steroids. It's a high-tech mimicry engine that does nothing more than predict the next word in a sentence. That's literally it. Now, granted, it's extremely good at doing this, and that's why it's able to trick us into thinking that it's sentient. But ultimately, the AI is not sentient. It's only able to mimic sentientness because it's trained on things that are written by sentient beings. Us. The way it does this is actually quite intriguing. Let me try to break this down as simply as possible. Now, the acronym GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Believe it or not, that acronym is a lot more descriptive of what AI is than even the acronym AI. When you type a prompt into an AI chatbot, it doesn't actually see sentences or questions or whatever it is you wrote. Instead, it breaks your sentence down into tokens. Tokens are nothing more than the mathematical value that are comprised of fractions of words rather than whole words. This is because computers don't understand words. They only see data. So something like the word computer would be broken into compute and It does this because it's easier for the algorithm to break down the meaning of parts of words than it is the complete words itself. And also, compute is used in a lot of different ways. But either way, for the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to be using whole words instead of partial words, just to kind of make it easier to understand. Just know that the reason they do this is so they don't have to memorize as many words. But either way, it then needs to classify these tokens by their meanings. This is where the transformer part of the acronym comes in. Because here's the thing, the way humans read and understand something is by left or right to left, depending on what country you're from and how you're raised. But the way computers understand stuff in a transformer model is more similar to a point cloud from a 3D scan. It categorizes the tokens it collects from your prompt into something similar to GPS coordinates within a point cloud. These, depending on where the coordinates land, is how the algorithm understands what you're trying to say. For instance, if I say the word Windows, you don't know if I'm talking about Windows in a house or Microsoft Windows? I mean, if you're watching my video, it's more than likely Microsoft Windows, but you never know. But the algorithm may move the GPS coordinates within the point cloud to the token Windows. But by that alone, it can't understand what you're trying to say. Now, if you typed a sentence like, "How do I clean my Windows?" the algorithm would look at the tokens clean and Windows and put them together in order to make the context. However, if you type the sentence, "Windows Update isn't working," then the algorithm would look at the tokens update and Windows and then make that context. You see, the way it does this is the point cloud is made up of hundreds of billions of points called parameters. These parameters are essentially the scaffolding within the LLM that's created through the training process. It then takes the tokens that it created from your prompt that are nothing more than mathematical sequences that it can compare to its trained parameters to determine what it is you're talking about. So if the token Windows lands within the point cloud near system maintenance, then it knows you're probably talking about the Windows operating system. But if the Windows token lands within the point cloud near home improvement, then it knows you're probably talking about Windows in your house. Now, like I said before, LLMs have hundreds of billions of parameters. In fact, some newer models have trillions of parameters. These parameters are essentially like little volume knobs that can be turned or fine-tuned during the training process. So when an LLM first begins training, it essentially outputs gibberish. But when it breaks down its training data into mathematical sequences, it compares it to its own mathematical output until the math kind of works out. It does this by adjusting all those little parameters in its point cloud until the responses have the same mathematical value as the training data. It then responds to your prompt with mathematical probabilities. This is why you shouldn't have skipped statistics in college, because it turns out, yeah, we are going to use it. Once the algorithm has determined what you're asking based on coordinates within its point cloud, it determines a response based on what is most mathematically probable. So, if you were to ask an LLM, what is the capital of California? It doesn't know the answer. It doesn't even understand the question. It just knows that the math that is generated from the prompt gives it a statistical probability for a response. In this case, Sacramento would be 98% match. Santa Cruz would be a 2% match. And Bologna would be a 0.00001% chance. So, obviously, it responds with Sacramento because it has the highest mathematical probability based on the math that was generated from the question. Now, that you understand how AI works, there's a big problem. AI is not intelligent. In fact, the word intelligent shouldn't even be in the title, but I guess it's good for marketing. AI can only mimic intelligence. It does this through the amount of parameters that it's trained on. GPT-1 had 117 million parameters. GPT-2 had 1.5 billion, and GPT-3 had 175 billion, while GPT-4 is believed to have 1.8 trillion parameters. Now, for a while, perceived intelligence of an LLM would increase along with its increase in parameters. Unfortunately, that's seeing diminishing returns. We've essentially hit a ceiling at how intelligent an LLM can be based on its parameters alone. Now, what's even worse though is that AI models have already been trained on all publicly available data on the internet. This is likely why a lot of AI companies are essentially committing piracy to get more data to train on, because there's simply no data left. But what is compounding this problem is also one of the things that's destroying tech. There's already been multiple examples of tech articles being written, or rather generated, by AI. Ars Technica in February faced significant backlash after publishing an article that heavily relied on AI hallucinations. Then there was PC World that published an article from their sister site, PC Welt, that claimed that Windows 12 was supposed to release later this year and be a modular AI-first operating system that required a monthly subscription. I'm sure You guys all read that article, right? That story blew up, but by the next day, we found out that it was likely based on AI hallucinations because literally nothing in the article was true. It was all nothing more than regurgitated rumors that were in some cases years old. Also, I've had my suspicions that this is a lot more widespread than everyone realizes. I'm a technician and I work on computers literally every day. So when the news came out in January that Windows Update was causing massive widespread problems, I kind of braced for it. I thought it was going to be a busy month. It turned out it wasn't. In fact, I only had to help 2 customers that had issues that were possibly related to Windows Update issues. I talked to other technicians and they all reported the same thing. Let me know down in the comments below what your experience was. But then February rolled around and we started getting the same reports. Widespread issues that Windows 11's February update was causing problems. It started out with people experiencing multiple reboots leading to a non-functional login screen, as well as some other random DHCP problems. Well, like I reported in a video previously, none of this was true. The multiple reboots was a non-functional login screen was some dude on a Microsoft support page. And the DHCP problems was a completely different dude on a Reddit thread. But they were reported as widespread problems. Now, what I believe is happening is that AI is misclassifying individual issues with widespread problems. And then tech articles are using AI to write their articles. And then it's just reinforcing the AI because the AI is trained on the articles that were generated by the AI itself. It's kind of like a feedback loop, if that makes any sense. So essentially, the AI hallucinations are just being reinforced by the AI-generated tech articles. I saw a quote recently that I think really highlights the problem here. It said, what we're witnessing right now isn't just a few bad articles. You're seeing the check engine light of the internet flashing. If this bubble doesn't pop soon, we may find the Wild West has been paved over, and the only thing left is a series of toll roads leading to empty buildings. Now, there have been reports that as much as 50% of articles in major publications are AI generated. And you know, this is a pretty major problem. Not because it could lead to model collapse, which it could, but it's a problem because these articles are doing nothing more than perpetuating AI hallucinations. And you know what? That's why the Windows 12 article went viral. It was a big story, and AI chatbots started repeating it. But you know what? This isn't just happening in tech articles either. I don't know about you guys, but my YouTube feed is bombarded with AI slop. This is actually contributing to hurting actual creators like me. There's widespread reports across the entire platform that creators are seeing 20 to 30% drop in views. This isn't just a couple of creators. It's all of us. I'm experiencing exactly the same thing. It's an epidemic. I mean, I've gotten to the point to where I've disabled shorts completely on my desktop. I mean, it's a stupid format for the desktop anyway, but still, my homepage has nothing I'm interested in. And no wonder my views are down because the only videos that get any traction on YouTube anymore are AI generated because they know how to manipulate the algorithm. And then NVIDIA has decided that the next generation of GPUs is just going to be a Snapchat filter over your game. And now, how out of touch do you have to be to try to sell an AI feature to gamers when they can't afford gaming systems because of AI? It doesn't matter how good it looks. It's literally causing us to not be able to play games in the first place. Then we've got Microsoft, who we have to wonder week by week which part of Windows is going to get the next Copilot integration. Hey, I got an idea. Maybe Copilot should get a Copilot button. Why not? Luckily though, Microsoft has reported that they're going to try to de-slopify Windows and concentrate more on performance and reliability. Wow, what a great idea. But either way, I'm going to do a video about that later, so I'm not going to get too much into it here. But here's the thing. I love tech. I mean, I would have to still be in this industry right now. But I see AI as a corrosive force. Luckily though, it's an unsustainable corrosive force. Like acid, once diluted, it gets weaker and weaker. And that ultimately is what we're seeing. With AI training on itself, it's getting more and more diluted. This is called model collapse. When AI trains on itself, its mathematical values that it uses to predict the next word degrade and eventually become gibberish. I mean, right now, it's just creating more and more unrealistic tech articles. So we're likely to see more articles touting the problems with Windows Update every month, or the next subscription-based version of Windows, I guess. So just be cautious reading news articles moving forward. It may be written by a machine and be complete nonsense. But ultimately, its error rate is going to exponentially rise and eventually lead to a breaking point that you will ask it what the capital of California is, and it will tell you baloney. But the fake articles aside, AI really is causing damage to the industry. 32 gigs of DDR5 was $99 in October. It's pushing almost $600 right now. And they say this could go on for a couple of years. And this isn't what this video is about, but this is one of the reasons why I've decided to enable memberships on my channel. There's going to be more information coming in a later video, but the promise that I can give you right now is that there won't be any paywalled content. Every video that I produce will be available for free for everyone. Forever. At least as long as YouTube doesn't delete my channel because some AI bot was better than me, but we'll talk about that later. But if you want to become a member to support me, then I would appreciate it. And you'll get a little badge right next to your name. I'm also going to be releasing my weekly videos early on Friday for members. So you don't have to wait until Monday to see the next video. These memberships should be live when this video drops, but I'm going to do an official video later on kind of explaining it in more detail. But either way, the AI industry is made up ultimately of grifters trying to secure the next $100 billion in funding. And the bubble is not going to pop until that funding dries up. But it has to at some point, right? I guess unless, of course, someone has the brilliant idea to make AI taxpayer funded. Actually, no, don't give OpenAI any ideas. Let's cut that part out. But really though, eventually companies like NVIDIA are going to come crawling back, wanting your business again. Crucial will probably start making consumer RAM again. And Microsoft will probably forget what Copilot is and pretend like it never existed. Okay, actually, that's probably just wishful thinking and maybe a little bit of cope. Because ultimately, AI is not going away, but it's going to change because the current implementation is simply unsustainable. And we're already seeing the signs of the bubble popping. OpenAI recently announced that they're canceling their Stargate data center project, and instead, they're going to be renting data center space from Amazon and Oracle. And you know what? Keep in mind that OpenAI took out a 40% allocation of HBM production for 2026. That's the reason why you can't afford memory right now. That memory was intended to supply their Stargate data center project. If that project is dead, then that memory has nowhere to go. But here's the thing though, there's a relatively small pool of buyers for this allocation. If OpenAI falls through, it's basically just going to be Meta, Amazon, and Google that would buy this, and they likely will. In fact, with that said, even if they didn't, chances are NVIDIA would, just to keep it out of the hands of their competition, because that's kind of the company NVIDIA is. So we're right now not seeing a full bubble pop, but we are seeing stress fractures form. These stress fractures are probably not going to make your memory prices go down anytime soon, but they are going to make investors more skeptical. And without constant streams of billions and billions of dollars, these AI companies can't survive. This entire house of cards depends on other people's money. As soon as that dries up, so does the allocation space for hardware, and so does the compute required to run these models. Eventually, there will be too many stress cracks, and that bubble will pop. I just hope when the bubble pops, it doesn't take tech out with it. But I have a feeling that there are too many stubborn people like me that won't allow that to happen. But with that said, if you want to hear more about the AI-generated tech articles I mentioned earlier, check out this video where I discuss the Windows Update issues specifically. If we can't trust our news, it's going to be hard to know what's going on around us. But as always, you guys have a great day.